I always say this to students that, when parents ask me, why do US colleges cost so much? I'm like, just the number of opportunities they offer you. It's just that so many students don't use up those
True.
opportunities. They just don't get involved. And you come out of college like a different person.
It started with me getting selected to represent my team in the student athlete advisory. So
Right.
like my coach, reached out to me because she probably thought that I could be a good representative. So, we discussed that and I got on the whole like advisory committee. And honestly, every other connection I got through that. Honestly, for me, it was really smooth, which I did not expect. I was really scared. Like, first of all, my coach, I think I got so lucky with her. She's so amazing.
This is All Things College and Life. Hi, Meher. Thanks for joining me today. Excited to have you here. And for everyone who's listening and watching, Meher is a student athlete. She's a golfer at Bates College, which is also a very strong liberal arts college in the US. So excited to have you here, Meher, and chat more about your college journey so far.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited too.
Awesome. So, Meher, we worked together a while back now. It's been, I think, 2, 3 years.
Mhm.
And earlier, of course, we were just laughing about the fact that you used to do your calls from the same spot. So it's nice to see you back in the same spot during your holidays. So tell me, how has your, college experience been so far? How has the last, it's been 2.5 years, right?
1.5
Or
years.
1.5, yes. So how has the whole 1.5 year experience been so far?
It's honestly gone by so fast. It's kind of sad, but it's been
Yeah.
so great. I think for everything, like from golf, obviously, I've, you know, um, I have a great coach. I have great technology, awesome
Yeah.
infrastructure there to just help my game. I know my game so much better now. So definitely for that. And then
Yeah.
obviously academics, career advancement. Bates has an awesome, such a successful alumni network. So just connecting with them, learning from them has been so, so helpful to just
Amazing.
navigate my journey and what to do during and after college. And yeah, I think just socially, I've really stepped out of my comfort zone and tried out a lot of different things. Like just been a part of different groups and just different communities. So I think it's been a really growing journey. I feel so much confident about myself. And yeah, just I think the overall atmosphere has been so welcoming. Everyone is so, so nice and supportive.
Yeah.
Um, coming all the way from India, I haven't felt out of place or just, not included.
Mm.
Everyone has been so welcoming and made me feel so at home since day one. So it's been great.
Yeah. That's so amazing. And I think the interesting thing is also that, I mean, the thing that you mentioned about confidence, for me, I can already see that in just a few minutes we've spoken about. I remember you being so shy and reserved when we were having our calls.
I know.
And now your confidence in the way you're talking, expressing yourself, there's just a huge change there.
Thank you.
Amazing. And so, one thing, of course, where is that you obviously you were coming from Chandigarh, from a good school, and you'd had a lot of exposure, but still, going to the US was going to be a big thing. I remember mom and dad were also a little nervous about the whole change and
Right.
you moving so far away from home. How is that experience of just moving and getting there and building yourself and finding your feet? How was that journey for you, the transition?
Yeah, I honestly, for me, it was really smooth, which I did not expect. I was really scared, like kind of, I just had mixed emotions, before going, but I think I just got lucky. Like um, I went somewhere that I'm comfortable at, in a smaller community with just a lot of
Mm.
supportive people. First of all, my coach, I think I got so lucky with her. She is so amazing. Like she like picked me up from the airport. She helped me move in and stuff, which just made the whole process so much easier for me. And then
Wow.
having all of my teammates they just had my back since day one. And I think yeah, there was a lot of culture shock
Hmm.
about certain things, and for that my team like helped me a lot. They usually like make fun of me at first and all of that, but they always like help me understand different things, especially when we like travel for tournaments and I'm just lost at different things. So I think their support and their help has really made it so much easier. And just overall, I think again, being in a really small community, a small campus, you
Yeah.
know a lot of people, you have personal relationships with them. So, you just have that kind of support network.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'd say there were a couple of culture shocks at first, obviously moving so far away from home.
Yeah.
Living alone is kind of hard at first, but it's definitely a great experience and it's
Hmm.
definitely really doable. So it has been really smooth for me.
Great. I'm very intrigued by these culture shocks. Do you recall any culture shocks where you realized that, okay, this was not a normal thing back in India and now I'm seeing it here?
It's not even like something you would expect. It's like ordering food at restaurants.
Hmm.
I genuinely like still can't figure out how to order food and like how to just act in restaurants. I'm so always like so lost and confused, and I just don't understand half of their menu, and I just have to like ask for help all the time. So that's like my biggest
Yeah.
culture shock. Others have been
Yeah.
fine. It's just ordering food.
Even the concept of tipping. I remember when I went to the US, I was like, why are we paying more money than we're supposed to? And and a lot of us used to be like, we're students, they'll understand. And they don't understand. I mean, even if you're a student, you're broke, you don't have money, they still expect you to tip.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even now when I go, you're working, so I'm like more generous with my tips.
Generous.
I give like 15% or something. Earlier it was like give
No,
like all the coins that you had, and they would just stare at you like
I know.
not
It's
appreciated.
especially horrible when we order food online. We're just kind of like we don't tip as much, and then our food just never comes. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's that's a culture shock for sure.
yeah. I think you're right. There are a lot of differences that you end up seeing. Especially, had you visited the US before going to college?
No, never.
Yeah, so that was like the first experience.
Yeah.
And I can't remember this. Where did mom dad accompany you?
My dad went with me.
Got
But
it.
it was like his second time going, so he didn't know as
Yeah.
much either, especially like in the
Hmm.
northeast side. So
Right.
he knew from
Right.
us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good. And I think one piece that is really intriguing about Bates College, of course, is that one, it's a small college, and I think sometimes for a lot of students, a small setting can work really well. But the other aspect of that is it is in like a what we sometimes call that northeast region of
Mhm.
the East Coast, which is, cold, little bit isolated.
Yeah.
You don't have too much access to really big and major cities. So, how has that whole experience been? Just adjusting and adapting to that? Has it been a good thing for you, or do you miss being in like a bigger city?
It's kind of like a mixture. Like half of the time we complain about it, and the
Mm.
other half we're like happy where we are.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends. But I think for a college experience, for me personally, I think I'm really satisfied with kind of like the isolated side.
Mm.
Like we are in a city, but like from being from like India, Chandigarh, I
Yeah.
wouldn't call it a city. But
Yeah.
like we have like the basics around, but
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, we have like Boston 3 hours away, and it's pretty like there's a bus that goes if you want to go, so
Mm.
that's not bad. But my friends and I joke about it, and we're like, it's good we're not in a city. We would spend so much money.
That's
But
true.
yeah,
That's true.
so it kind of like keeps us from not getting distracted and kind
Yeah.
of being in college. But yeah, I think sometimes it might, like, especially during like the shorter holidays or breaks when
Hmm.
you can't really go out on a vacation. So you're kind of stuck on college because we don't have cars either. So sometimes maybe then it's like k- kind of boring or like nothing to do. But I think overall for a college experience, I really like that part. Like there are cities like 45 minutes away or there's Boston 3 hours away. I think that's a pretty good distance if you want to go. But overall, I like being in that little like circle of just Bates
Yeah.
College and just 1,800 people right there.
Yeah. I think, yeah, like I said, I mean, I think for some people, especially like in your
Mm.
case, I feel anyone who needs to work a lot on, let's say, the component of building relationships, your public speaking skills, I think
Definitely.
it's so good to be in a smaller space because you just have to build relationships. There's no other way to survive. You're not in a like a large school where you can find a few friends and that's it. You get away with it. Here, eventually, everyone they know your name. Everyone starts to call you by their name, and you realize you also have to learn and make that effort,
Mm-hmm.
understand more about people, and yeah, I think being in a small school has huge advantages as well.
Definitely, yes.
And I think this is even, I mean, I was in a smaller space, smaller college, and also a small city.
Mhm.
And exactly what you said, coming from a city in India, you probably wouldn't call those places a city. Those are like small towns.
Mhm.
But I was in like the capital of West Virginia, but it didn't feel like a capital city to me coming from Delhi. Uh, but I remember whenever I talk to someone about it, I always say that, if you've been a student athlete, being in a small space, it doesn't feel too bad because I picked on something where you were sharing the moment you went in, your teammates just made you feel like you're at home.
Yes.
And I think as a student athlete, that's a privilege because every student doesn't get that. A lot of students just have to make friends.
Exactly.
Versus for student athletes, you are just the first week itself, you have so many friends just on your own team that as you make more friends, that's a bonus. That's not like a necessity.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I think makes a huge difference. So that's great. Good to hear that it's been a positive experience for you.
Yeah.
What about the now coming to, let's say, the academics part of it, the because it's a liberal arts school, so uh most people who will probably watch and listen to this know what liberal arts will be.
Mhm.
So how is your first year, going into classes, being exposed to different kind of fields and academic interests? Because
Mm.
again, that's not something we necessarily do in India.
Yeah.
So how is that whole liberal arts, especially your first year experience at Bath?
Right. Yeah, I like uh, being in a liberal arts school, you're not only like encouraged to take classes from different disciplines, but it's a requirement, at least at Bates.
Right.
Like you needed to graduate. So I have taken, like, I'm a psychology major, but I've only taken 3 psychology classes till now. But I've taken
Wow.
so many other, like from neuroscience, I've taken computer science, I've taken French,
Yeah.
I've taken sports classes, stuff like that. And apart from just, it's not only about taking those classes for like the requirements, it
Mm.
genuinely does help you in whatever you're studying. Like it builds creativity, it can help you in critical thinking. Like if
Right.
you're working on something, you can kind of, grab ideas from different classes that you've taken. And
Mm.
I think that's like the main motive of a liberal arts education, kind of integrating different
Yeah.
fields and different concepts into something more broad. So it has
Yeah.
been interesting taking classes from different disciplines. And even still, like I'm only taking one psychology class. Next semester I'm taking a theater class, I'm taking a dance class. Just
Wow.
so many, like you have to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's a great experience, and just to figure out what else you might like, find interesting. I've been taking a lot of neuroscience classes because there I didn't I did not know that neuroscience would be something that I'd be really interested in, but
Mm,
just trying it out, I've actually realized that it's something that I might be really interested in the long run. So
interesting.
yeah, but I think yeah, overall Bates is kind of a rigorous school, like pretty challenging classes and
Yeah.
coursework, but just I think the whole experience does develop your critical thinking skills a lot. Like you do have to put in the extra effort and
Yeah.
hard work, but it really, really does build on your skills at the end.
That's amazing. And what has been like one class, or let's say a skill or an educational area that perhaps you feel you've now developed or you've gained from because you were pushed to do more classes
Mhm.
than you needed to do?
Yeah, I think there's a lot actually. For example, computer science, like I have taken classes in different computer languages that I did not know before, in newer
Well,
languages than what I did in school. So, just like data analysis and like general coding. So I've built on a lot of computer science skills in that area than just regular coding, which is the only thing I knew before.
yeah,
So, and I think that thing, like that aspect of computer science, you can apply anywhere. Like whatever field you
right.
choose to go in later, you can apply that for sure. So
Yeah,
definitely computer science.
amazing. And I think that's what happens, right? Like I always say this to a lot of people, that this has happened to me in my life, where
Hmm.
I feel education plays out later in your life. Uh, like right now, if I were to ask you, well, yes, you've studied computer science, but what are you going to do with it? Because you're a psychology major. You may not have the answer, but
Hmm.
you don't know 8 years later, you're building a business around mental health, and now you need some coding skills. You may hire someone in that department anyway, but just knowing that I know at least the basics of it
Hmm.
allows you to even take that step forward and advance in that industry, or build out a technology based mental health app
Yeah.
perhaps. So I feel like you realize a lot later that how has education sort of worked, and why did I study what I studied.
Right.
uh, like I had this class, I remember in my college time. I was a business and sports major, so
Mhm.
I had a double major, and one of the electives I had for business was this class called, uh, I think, running and starting and running a small business. And it was very interesting because it was so unique to only a small business.
Right.
They didn't make you think like it's a big corporation where HR is someone else and
Yeah.
marketing is someone else. It was about, well, how do small businesses
Yeah.
handle so many different things? Uh, because they can't afford a lot of team members and things like that. And it's been so interesting because that class in some ways has showed up again and again in my life, where I run a
Yeah.
company where we're a team of 5 people, and I'm
Mm.
not looking to grow that. It's a small team,
Mhm.
and it's literally, it comes into play the exact class that you've done. But if you asked me when I was in college, I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. When is this gonna come to use? So
Exactly.
it's great that you're taking it with an approach where I think you're very open to that experience, that just take in the education right now, and then later you figure out where it plays out. So that's super interesting.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that Bates is, of course, rigorous as well academically.
Yes.
So, how does now, let's say, bringing golf into the picture? You're, of course, a student athlete competing at its NCAA Division Three golf.
Yeah.
While it's Division Three, it's not easy anyway. It's still competitive golf, and
Mhm.
a lot of commitment has to be there from your end as a golfer.
Right.
But you also, of course, have to maintain your academic grades, turn up to classes. So, how's the experience of balancing the two? How's that been for you?
I think the very first semester was definitely kind of, about figuring things out, figuring out your schedule, time management. So that I think the first semester might be the hardest, even if you're
Yeah,
taking like intro level classes or whatever. So, because our season starts right away, like in September, the very first week of college, our season starts. So we don't get enough time to adjust to, um,
Mhm.
each like part, and we just have to we're just thrown into it all together. So it's kind of different, like difficult at first, but
Yeah.
I think overall it's been pretty easy. Like it's just about time management at the end. Like so
Mm.
I believe like so many people do it. So it's definitely doable. It's
Right.
nothing like, impossible. So it's just like you do have to put in an extra just go an extra mile, put in extra effort to achieve it, being an athlete, because you have practice every single day, you're away for the weekends, so it's kind of just building your schedule around that.
Mm.
You might have some late nights, but that's how it is in season. And
Yeah.
then when you're traveling, you might just be up studying at night, or if you have a later tea time, you're up early studying.
Yeah.
But it's definitely possible. I think for me, it's been really helpful seeing my teammates do it.
Mm.
So we kind of just, even at a hotel, we just kind of go at a lounge, study together. So
Nice.
things like that, I think, just make it so much easier seeing other people do it.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely doable. But yeah, it hasn't been anything crazy, especially this past semester.
Mm.
I was taking like really hard classes, obviously being a second year student, but it was way easier than my first year overall, because I feel
Oh.
like I know myself better and I've set my priorities straight now, and I
Yeah.
know how to manage my time well with, like, especially being in season. So it definitely gets better with time, even if you're taking harder classes later on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely doable. A lot of people do it, so I don't like. I just
Yeah.
think it doesn't matter if it's a hard class, a rigorous college or not.
Right.
You have to put in the extra effort no matter what. So yeah,
Yeah. Makes sense. And I think one important point that you mentioned is that you had other people on your team do it. And,
right,
the nicest thing I feel when you're a student athlete is that you don't just have people in your same year on the team, you get to see, sophomores
exactly.
and juniors and seniors and how they're doing it. And if they are a good bunch, I mean, you're saying that, when you're traveling, you're in a lounge and studying.
Yeah,
I guess you can have a bunch that's not doing that. So then you don't learn that habit. So
exactly.
it sounds like you also have found teammates and team members who
Mhm.
do have the right habits and they know how to balance the whole act out. So you very quickly learned that as well, because
Right.
imagine if they were not studying and they were
Yeah.
just relaxing and chilling, you would probably join in and do the
Yeah.
same. And then, uh,
Definitely.
so yeah, that's very interesting as well, because I think a lot of your seniors are, I don't know if all realize or not, but they're leading by example for
Definitely.
the
Definitely.
students coming in for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
And I mean, also, I'm just going to clarify for anyone who listens to this that when Meher also mentioned traveling, that's for tournaments, not just,
Yeah.
traveling during Thanksgiving break and all. Traveling is, as a student athlete, you're traveling for tournaments and meets and things like that. So
Mhm.
it is a pretty hectic schedule. And as you were saying that, I remembered the same thing when we used to do. And I remember I was one of those students who would take my books with me, and a couple of others would just like laugh at me that, oh my God, like, how are you studying here? And I was like, I have no choice. I want to get a good grade. Uh, but fair. And how's golf been? You mentioned earlier about, your coach being so nice. The facilities seem to be better, but how has golf evolved for you? Have you been enjoying your tournaments? Has there been a change in the way practices run, the coaching styles?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think golf is always like it comes with bumps. So it's never a smooth run, at least for me. But um yeah, with my coach, especially like the teaching style and being able to catch my mistakes, like she can actually read my mind, and just stuff like that has been really helpful. But one thing I kind of like not necessarily struggled with but something
Mm.
that wasn't ideal for me specifically was adjusting to kind of like the structure and the schedule around college golf. Like,
Mm.
first of all, just starting it like the first weekend we have a tournament, or first weekend we haven't really practiced. We've been traveling, we're moving in, we're trying to adjust to our classes and stuff, and we're not
Yeah.
in. I wasn't in really in the mindset of playing my first college tournament, but luckily I
Mm.
played really well. But it definitely was a lot of pressure at first,
Yeah.
and it was really hectic, and just I feel like I was more used to playing a lot less tournaments,
Yeah.
and having like a really longer practice range. Like I used to practice for a lot. I had a different way of
Mm.
practicing, correcting my mistakes, working on my swing. But when you're in season, I feel like you don't really have the time to
Yeah.
work on your swing or change anything, because like you're playing the qualifying rounds on the weekdays, and then you're playing the actual tournaments on the weekends, and there's not really enough time to work on something. So I
Yeah.
think my fall season is always like comes with ups and downs. Like it's kind of stressful, but I think you just get used to it after. It's just the first semester that's
Yeah.
really bumpy.
A big adjustment.
Definitely. And but like the spring season, I really enjoy it because I've worked on my swing. I worked on um my game overall through for months in the simulator. So I
Yeah.
feel a lot more confident coming into the spring season. I always play well then. But yeah, I think just the overall structure was kind of hard to adjust to at first. But especially in Division 3, we don't play practice rounds because we're not allowed to miss classes. So
Mm.
that was a really big
Yeah.
shock to me, like just going and playing on a new course because I had never done that before. I would always
Yeah.
like 2-3 days before a tournament and like actually like just kind of read the course. That was the main thing, but just stuff like that. But yeah, like second year was better, definitely. Um, I knew more and I was more comfortable. But yeah,
The fact that you don't end up getting that practice round,
yeah,
have your scores improved, gone down, stayed the same? Not at the start because that anyway
yeah,
is an adjustment period. But let's say by the time your second semester had kicked
yeah.
in spring, did you see an improvement, decline, or was it about the same?
My like first year, second semester, like the spring one was really well. I played really well then. I think it was just like I just knew I had to do this. There was no point in complaining or whining
Yeah.
about it. So I think it was more about my mindset.
Mm.
So I played pretty well in my spring semester. I mean, my first ever college tournament, I played really well. So I don't think it's necessarily about the practice round. It's more about my mindset. It always
Yeah.
comes back to that. So it was just my thinking. And my coach always said that, next year you would have already played those courses. It's the same tournaments every year.
Mm.
So, but like I forget the courses.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
but I think it's obviously about the mindset. Sometimes on like trickier holes, if you don't, there's always like a safer way out, and sometimes you don't know that.
Mm.
Maybe that's where you would kind of, you know, um,
Yeah.
struggle. But overall, I don't think it's a really big disadvantage to miss practice rounds. I think it was all in my
Yeah. That's what my point was going to be. That, that the scores end up staying the same. It's just that you actually become more efficient with
yeah.
your golf. You realize you don't, of course, if you're trying to turn pro, having that extra practice round
Yeah.
can maybe improve that performance. Like you said, on certain holes, if you know there's an easier way out, maybe it helps you save two
Yeah.
or three strokes, and that goes a long way in your
Mhm.
final scorecard. But yeah, like at the end of the day, being very real and being very honest about it, D3, you're not trying to go pro. It's
Yeah.
it's that's why those sort of rules have been set in as well. But it's interesting to know that, like, not having a practice round, you're still shooting similar scores.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
pretty interesting. Are you able to walk the course or get some insight, some information on the course before, though?
Sometimes when we're playing like close by, maybe like at a college 30 minutes away, we go a day before and kind of like we might get a few holes in.
Yeah.
Mostly we just, go on a cart and see the holes. And like our seniors again who've played the course kind of have their own notes, so they just kind of tell us along the way.
Yeah.
But other tournaments, like the ones that are farther, like 4 to 5 hours away, we reach at night because we obviously can't skip classes. So we
Hmm.
reach at night and then we just go and play straight away. So
Makes sense. Very interesting. How's the sophomore year been now? I mean, it's just started. You've had one semester, but has it been anything different to what the first year was like?
yeah, no, definitely. I again like it's actually been easier, way easier. Um, Despite me like taking harder classes,
Hmm.
I feel way more comfortable because I know myself and I know how to get around with different things that I'm doing, especially with golf. But
Right.
overall, mostly it's this year I'm much more involved on campus because I think the first year was more about, adjustments and getting to know how I fit in with this environment and all the things that I'm doing. It was more about just learning. But
Yeah.
second year, I'm really involved on campus. Like I have a campus job. I represent my team in the student athlete advisory. I even represent Bates in the NESCAC student athlete e board this year. So that has been like
Oh.
a great thing for me, great experience. So I think from now on, it's more about um, being involved in things that I'm interested in and then things
Hmm.
that can, go a long way in my career development, maybe, or yeah, just stuff like that. So I've been a lot more involved on campus this year. And I've actually had a
Nice.
lot of free time. I don't know why, but I've got a lot of free time this semester.
Wow.
Yeah.
So being involved in a lot of things, being on the golf team, doing well academically,
Yeah.
still finding time, that's
That's
a
great.
great thing.
Yeah, I was actually
Which-
really like worried about having so much free time. But yeah, this semester went great. So I think there was nothing wrong with having free time.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And I'm curious about, like, what's your campus job, by the way?
I'm a tour guide.
Oh, wow.
Can you
I could
imagine?
never do that job. I was like, you have to wake up like in the morning and then, I mean,
No,
um,
I take afternoon
yeah,
shifts.
you take afternoon shifts. Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah,
Great.
it's so
But you have to be like very excited and energetic and chirpy. Like you have to talk so much that I'm like, I can't do that.
it's actually really fun. Like I wouldn't
Mm.
ever imagine me being a tour guide, but it
Yeah.
just happened. So it's been really fun. It's been
Nice.
really great.
Wow. And you started that in the sophomore year or in the first year itself?
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay.
And how did you get involved in the other activities that you mentioned? Like, were they very accessible to you? Was the awareness there? Or let's say the coach or someone in the college kind of asked you that, would you like to do this? And then you got onto it.
Yeah, it started with me getting selected to represent my team in the student athlete advisory. So
Mm.
like my coach, reached out to me because she probably thought that I could be a good representative. So, we discussed that and I got on the whole like advisory committee, and honestly every other connection I got through that.
Mm.
um just other bunch of committees, like I'm on the athletic student government committee. I got to know about it through that.
Yeah.
I even traveled to Tufts University to represent Bates
Wow.
as a student athlete, so that opportunity I got through the first one, and the
Amazing.
NESCAC e-board one I got through that. So I think just starting off of one thing opened so many new opportunities that I actually had no idea about.
Yeah,
It just kind of happened and it's been great. Just being involved in so many things.
amazing.
Yeah, it's been great.
Let me just say one thing. That's what your parents are paying for.
I
I always
know.
say this to students that, when parents ask me, why do US colleges cost so much? I'm like, just the number of opportunities they offer you. It's just that so many students don't use up those
True.
opportunities. They just don't get involved. And you come out of college like a different person. If you get involved in a lot of those campus activities and start doing the kind of things you're talking about, you realize, I mean, it's been a year and a half since you've gone to college and you've changed so much. So now imagine what another 2.5 years of this will do. So the 4 year experience, you just come out a completely different person.
Definitely.
So I think that's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, my mom is already so happy with
Yeah,
everything I'm doing. Like she's
amazing.
really like satisfied with everything, so that's great.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, for my work, I talk to, like, imagine the first call we ever had.
Mhm.
My job is always to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I ha I talk to so many strangers, so I
Yeah.
talk to so many people who are just new families that I'm
Yeah.
interacting with on a weekly basis. And if I'm being honest, if you asked me pre-college, that was not a comfort level thing for me.
Right.
Just meeting new people and creating a conversation and learning more about them, it just didn't come naturally to me. It wasn't something that was easy at all. And I did one of my campus jobs was cold calling. I used to work at the advancement office. So I used to call alumni asking for
Oh
donations.
wow.
And I'm like, $50, $100. And whether you liked it or not, for 2 hours, you're just ringing people and asking them about how their experience is, how they've been doing, have they been staying in touch with the college? And at the end, you're like, well, can you do something? Can you make a contribution? And that got me so used to just talking to people and just keeping a smile on my face when I'm talking to them,
Yeah.
that it's
Right.
crazy that later on the profession I got into needed
Right.
exactly that skill.
Exactly.
So trust me, like everything that you're doing is gonna pay off in some way or form. You just don't know how, but it all comes together.
Exactly.
So it's great. What about I mean, I think we've covered most of the things, but I just want to ask you now your own satisfaction level at Bates. I remember when we were going through the whole recruitment journey, and you also had an offer from a Division 1 school. There were a couple of Division 3s, and Bates was like one of the strongest ones in that
Mhm.
whole pool. But the biggest decision that came for you was that, do I go down that D1 route and try and see if I want to turn professional, or should I, stick to the academic piece,
Yeah.
enjoy my golf, and be at a very strong institute like Bates? So, of course, you seem happy, but I just want to know that if you had to do it all over again, you were in that same position making that decision. You didn't know this is how your Bates experience will
Mhm.
go. So, just going back into time, you know, what would you have made a different decision? Would you ever think, I guess my question is, do you ever think about what if I went to a D1 school? What would life be if I had done that?
Honestly, not once, not once. I know a couple of people who at college who kind of had those thoughts like first year. I think a lot of people just have it.
Hmm.
What if like should I try transferring? Even if they're happy, like all of them are so happy right now at
Yeah,
base, but they some of them have had thoughts and they've been like, oh, should I try transferring? What if, I'd applied there? Not once did I have that thought.
yeah,
Um being at Bates or before that, I still remember that I actually chucked Bates out of my list
yeah,
one point of my process. Now I honestly can't think why I did that, but
yeah,
well, I'm glad you like actually made me keep it, and I'm so happy about that.
yeah,
Like I do think about what if I had gone to D1 school. But, considering all the options I had, I definitely wouldn't have been too satisfied there because one, it would have been a bigger school, and I honestly just see myself being in a smaller school. It just matches my personality and my goals
Yeah.
overall. And I think Division 3 is the goal for me. Like
Yeah.
I have always prioritized academics over golf. Sometimes, I get too emotional about golf, but at the end, I know my priorities, and I'm glad I realized them at
Yeah.
the right time. Um, it was always like I knew I wouldn't turn professional or be on the tour or anything. It was
Hmm.
just I feel like it was everyone else was, aiming for Division 1, and ev- just even the few people who had gone and played
Yeah.
college golf had gone to Division 1. So I thought that was the only option. I thought I had to do that. So it was kind of in my mind like that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I wasn't too open minded at the beginning. But I'm so happy you opened my mind about that because I know like I do want to work after I do want to stay connected to sports. Like I do want to work in the sports industry. That's my,
Hmm.
end goal. I do want to stay connected to golf, but in a different way, obviously.
Yeah.
Not trying to turn professional or anything. I really like, the balance I have right now. Like I get to play competitive golf, get the whole college golf experience while also prioritizing my academics and just my career. So definitely, I'm really satisfied with where I am and all the opportunities I've got until now.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Fun question now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you end up doing for your spring break? You end up having golf, right?
Yes.
Or yeah. But what about Thanksgiving? Were you able to travel anywhere nice?
Yeah, my first Thanksgiving, my friends and I went to New York City, which
Uh,
it was all right. I didn't love it. I don't think it's the city for me. I prefer
mm,
Boston. I love Boston. So we went there. It was nice, but I
mm,
don't think it's for me again to like a really big place. I prefer calmer,
yeah.
smaller places. So this past Thanksgiving break, I went to California to visit family, which was so fun.
Nice.
I actually so we have study abroad programs
Hmm.
for our junior year, like semester long programs. I was actually looking at like Amsterdam and Dublin and stuff, but I actually decided on UC Berkeley
Oh
because
wow,
it has a
nice.
great psychology program, and I said like I'm already like abroad. I don't mind just staying here.
Yeah. I agree. When you're
So
going from Bates to Berkeley, it's yeah,
it's
you're right.
still
It's
abroad.
like
I'm
abroad.
considering abroad. So
Yeah.
I decided on that. So I got a chance to just tour the campus,
Amazing.
get the vibe, which was really, really exciting. So I'm really excited about actually being there next year, hopefully. So
Wow.
that's what I did over my last Thanksgiving break.
Exciting. And how often do you end up going to Boston?
I I mean once, twice a year, I guess. It's not
Exactly.
because I don't get to, it's because my friends and I are just like low on energy. We're not
And you're just happy where you are. You don't,
it's
it's
not
nice to know that it's close by. Like
yeah.
it, yes, 3 hours in the US doesn't feel long to be honest. So it's
Yeah.
close only,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you don't want to make the effort. I get that.
Yeah, I know people who go really, really often. I just don't have the energy.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
think as a student athlete, it's also different. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense. Good. I mean, this has been fun, Meher. I think just hearing about your experience and the fact that you've also just told me a couple of times, thanks for not sticking Bates out of the list, making me realize my priorities. I'm glad after I'm feeling like good, I've done my job. And it's good to see how happy you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. But thanks for doing this. Thanks for sharing all the information and these insights also. Uh, and it's amazing to see how well you're doing, how many things you're involved in. It's superb. I don't know if we had done any video or something before, like a testimonial or something, but I'm gonna go find it and just see the comparison because this is such a completely different way that you're expressing yourself and talking. So I'm happiest to just see that.
Thank you so much.
Too amazing.
Thank you
Awesome, Ed.
so
Thank you so much and wishing you the best. Enjoy your break also and wishing you the very best for the upcoming semester and the next couple of years.
Thank you so much. This was really exciting. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram.